what's going on, guys? So I'm back. We had some technical difficulties before, but I think I got it resolved. Let me try to invite. You should see it pop up on your screen. Let me know. Let me know if you're having trouble seeing it. Oh, hey, what's going on, man?
What's up?
Hey, good to connect.
It's good to be here.
All right. Hey, Michael, thanks for being a guest on the podcast today. It is a health and wellness podcast, but I invite people with different lifestyles to kind of tell their story because oftentimes, when people's intention is to go on an honest health journey, some occupations or lifestyles make it exponentially difficult to do so, even when a person's intention is to do so. So, like, obviously, it's going to be tough if you're working, 60, 70 hours a week, and then to find the time to work out, to make your meals, to sleep well, and then also maybe to start a family and to do like a million other things that's required. So I shared my story, and then I also had a bunch of other people on the show, like Mark Warnke and Robin Greenfield. I don't know if you might be familiar with him, um, to kind of tell their story of how they kind of freed up their time or freed up their finances to create more like sustainable balance in their life. And so thank you for being on. I'll kind of let you take over and give your story and feedback on how you went from um, how you went on a journey to kind of build and purchase a tiny home. I'm not the best podcaster, so
No,
so
it's
you're going to
okay.
hear me rambling from time to time.
No, it's all good. So the tiny home that came about because I was living in my car and I was just like, I need to get a house, and houses are really expensive right now. So I was like, let's set the goal a little bit lower, a little bit more like realistic. So I was like, I'll get a tiny home. I'll spend like 60K on it. That was my goal. And living in the car at the time, I was filming content. I was like, that would be a great series to film while living in the car. I can just do like daily videos, keeping people updated on how much I'm earning each day, how much I'm spending. And, it can kind of be a way to maybe inspire people that are in a similar situation and trying to strive for their goals. So that was like the thought behind it. And then I didn't think it would really happen. I kind of just kept grinding the content, and eventually the money started to roll in through the content mainly, but DoorDash during the end is what really like put the lid on the thing, lid on the $60,000 goal. I ended up saving the 60,000 in 146 days of like extreme budgeting, extreme like just everything's work, everything. I'm trying to get as many like income streams as possible, constantly live streaming, constantly filming content, and then just like also living in the car, which was like that was pretty much content as well. But yeah, then then yeah, I took a break from content for a little bit, but then yeah, I got the tiny home built, and now we're here.
Well, can we maybe we can kind of rewind back a little bit and go in chronological order, just in case like there's some listeners. Obviously, every path is going to be different, and some paths work for some people, and some paths don't work for others, et cetera, et cetera. But it's important to at least know what's out there, and then a person can kind of decide what the best path is for them. So maybe if we can kind of rewind way back and kind of go through the chronological steps and what challenges you faced along the journey, and maybe go to like, I don't even know the story of how you ended up with living in your car. Maybe you can kind of give us some background on that.
Yeah, so like what's the question basically? Like how did I start living in the car, or
Oh, maybe if we can go like in chronological order in terms of uh, the first step in terms of like what motivated you to live in a car, and then kind of the challenges you faced there to overcome that. So in case anyone wants to kind of go along that path, maybe they can learn from your experience and fast track the journey without having as many pain points.
yeah, so basically what motivated me to live in my car was I wanted to travel. I felt like I was stuck in my hometown, and I got my first taste of travel by doing a remote, or not a remote job. I had a job opportunity in Oregon, so I did my first road trip from Indiana to Oregon. And after that, I was only working there for about a year, and then I went back home to Indiana. And after that, I was just really eager to get out and travel again and like see what the United States had to offer, see what possibilities and opportunities were out there. So I was in a like a really like not a very good headspace. I was kind of like just depressed and unmotivated to do anything. I didn't want to work a normal job. I've always wanted to be a content creator ever since I was a little kid. But so I was in that like bad headspace, and I was like, well, I'm basically willing to do just about anything to to basically willing to do like just about anything to like get out there and travel. So I was like, I'm just gonna sleep in the back seat of my car. And then I was planning my trip. I was like, I'm gonna go to Florida. And then a week before I left, I saw this like YouTube video of a dude that had ripped out his front seat and built like a little bed platform in a tiny. Because I travel in a tiny little sedan. It's a Kia Rio 2006 or 2009, so it's really small. So it'd be very uncomfortable to live in there. And so I got inspired by that dude. I wish I knew what channel he was because I tried to go back and find his video to give him like shout outs, but I can't. But I basically took his build and like modified it a little bit for my car. I built like a bed platform in there and ripped out the front seat and the back seat so my legs stick into the trunk. So because I'm 6'2", so like I needed that extra space. Um, and then yeah, I built the bed, went on my first couple of road trips, and yeah, then everything kind of like fell into the place once I was like on the road and I was living out of the car. I was like, okay, there's no, I don't want to go back to living in my mom's basement. I'd rather just save up money while living in the car and buy myself a house, buy myself a tiny home.
What expenses did you kind of save on by transitioning from living in a basement, for example, to your car?
What expenses did I save on? Well, there's no rent. That's one. Um, Mainly just rent.
Okay. Yeah, that's usually like a pretty big expense for most people. I kind of cover house hacking, how to outsource your rent by basically getting a multifamily unit and living in one of the units and then renting out the others. But everyone has like a different system, et cetera, et cetera. Are there any kind of like worries you had in doing that and kind of living in your car that kind of ran through your mind?
Um, I mean, I was just worried about safety, but once I got used to it, I kind of figured out that it's not really that dangerous, especially if you are cautious and put yourself in like a safer environment and are surrounded by other people that are also like car camping. But yeah, I mean, it was mainly like safety. How am I going to cook my food? How am I going to shower? Just like all the beginning steps of being able to like live on the road, and all those things come with, the first couple days you're out there, you basically figure everything out.
Well, how did you compensate for like the cooking, the showering, et cetera, et cetera? What was your strategy there?
So for the showering, I just got a Planet Fitness membership, and they have them all over the U.S. So I can just wherever I'm traveling, I can go shower at Planet Fitness. Or if I'm staying in one spot for a long period of time, I would make sure that there's a Planet Fitness near me. Um, and then for cooking, I would just get like a propane stove, and I had like a little like a table that I cooked off of, and would keep a cooler with some ice in my trunk for storing like meat. But I would mainly just buy and cook the same day. But I did have like eggs always with me in the back, and for eating on road trips, I would mainly just eat like peanut butter jellies and tuna, just like because I would store the peanut butter in the car. I didn't really need refrigeration, and then the tuna, I would just have that chilling in the car as well.
Did you have like when you left, did you have a specific timetable with how long you're going to be traveling for, or were you taking it just kind of like week by week?
Yeah, I was taking it more like day by day. I didn't have any plan or any sort of like travel destination. I had a goal in mind was where it was like I want to visit every state. I want to see what every state has to offer in the United States.
Is there like a big issue with kind of sleeping overnight in parking lots? Did you run into a lot of issues with that?
Yeah, you get kicked out every once in a while. Walmart parking lots, you can get kicked out by security. That's the worst, getting somebody knocking on your door at like 2 in the morning. But other than that, it's all about just picking the right location, knowing which places to stay, which places allow it, which places don't. There's a lot of like apps. There's an app that I used to use called iOverlander, but they now are charging like $5 a month just to use the app. So I'm actually working to try to build my own app and have it have it to where it shows all the safe places you can sleep and make it like completely free, stuff like that. But yeah, there's yeah.
Well, what are some mistakes you feel people make when they try to kind of maybe live in a van or a car or anything of that sort? What are the most frequent ones you see?
Mistakes. I don't really pay attention to what other people are doing, honestly. Just like making a crappy bed, like making their bed not comfortable, and then they end up not wanting to do it anymore because they can't get good sleep. But I mean, I don't really know. I don't mistakes. I don't know. I'm really not one to judge, honestly. Like if somebody's doing it, and I don't really like to determine whether whatever they're doing is right or wrong. I kind of just stick to my own lane.
Well, what are some big mistakes you made along the journey? Kind of looking back at it in retrospect.
Um, Definitely would make my bed a lot more comfortable. Um, make my bed more comfortable, and maybe have a better power source. Like I had a power station, but maybe have the power source connected to my battery, so like I have a additional way to like have a mini fridge or like have like an AC unit or some like really small low wattage AC unit that I could run during the nighttime when it's hot. Just having a better power source and just staying more prepared and yeah, I don't know. I don't I don't know. Looking back on it, I'm just like, there's not really any mistakes because it led me to this point, and it was a struggle, and the struggle was good. I liked the struggle. I liked being in the struggle zone. It kept me like in like a survival mode where I was like just constantly working, constantly wanting to grind.
How did the tiny home idea come to you initially? Is that your goal from the get-go, or that just kind of happened while you're already kind of traveling throughout the states in your car?
So I was doing trips. I was doing like 3 4 month trips, and then I would go home and like visit family, and then go on another trip. And during that time, I was just planning on just doing that, just go on a 2 3 4 month trip, go home for a couple weeks, reset, and then go and keep doing trips. But then I decided that I didn't want to go home, and that's when I decided, okay, I need to actually find myself some sort of like HQ. I need a home base to where I can go and like rest, reset, and yeah, so that's when I realized like, okay, I can't just live in my mom's basement forever, and I don't want to do that. I was like, okay, we can start to think about goals, setting some long term goals, and I was like, 60K 6 months. What's 6 months of my life? If I just work every single day for 6 months, like what's it matter to me? 6 months is nothing.
And you made that 60K mainly from like DoorDash and content creation.
Yeah, mainly from content creation from YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. Kick, I was live streaming on Kick. Majority of the money came from social media, and then in the last month, I did like a 30-day DoorDash run where I just DoorDash 15 hours a day for like 30 days straight, and just to like finish off the 30, finish off the challenge and get it done with because I really wanted to hit that 60K mark. And I feel like making the content and living in the car kept me accountable, and it really helped me keep track of everything because maybe a lot of days I didn't have motivation, and it was mainly just like trying to stay dedicated to the content, and I felt like I had a responsibility to like keep the audience updated on what I was doing, and I also had that response, like I also wanted to be doing it, so that really did help the content aspect of things. The whole trip and the whole like journey was basically surrounded by content. Like yes, I wanted to travel, but I mainly just wanted to be a content creator, and I wanted to grow a following and like inspire people because I had a mission statement whenever I first traveled, and it was like I want to like help people, I want to inspire people. Like how could I do that? You know, what helped me in my depressive state and my situation was like traveling and like opening up my eyes to new opportunities. So I was like, I need to share this feeling, this experience with like other people. So I came to the conclusion that like I could cast like my message onto the most people and like hit the most broadest audience by living in the car and like doing the traveling and like door dashing, saving up for money. Those are majority of people in America after the age of like 18 to 21, they have a car or they have the means to go get like a crappy car. My car was $2,000, and they have. If you don't have a DUI and you have a valid driver's license and you have insurance on your car, then you can DoorDash. So it's like something that like majority of people could go do in their free time. I just wanted to make it seem like real, like it's very attainable. What I did is like anybody could basically go out there and do it.
Yeah, and what one random question, kind of rewinding way back in the beginning, what kind of held you back from just getting like a normal job like everyone else, or like most people, not everyone else, but
Um, I'd say just like the way I was raised with my brothers, they were always like filming stuff, posting stuff on YouTube. Like my eldest brother Donald, he had like a camcorder from the time I was like 2 to whatever age, and he was just like filming home videos constantly. Like he was a vlogger before a vlogger was even a thing, and he was just constantly recording, buying a new camera every year. He'd get like the new model of the camera, and like I think that had like an impact on me as a kid. And eventually when I was like 6, 7, 8, that's when YouTube started to drop, and like YouTube became a popular thing, and I was like, wow, YouTube can actually you can make money from it. So I forgot. Wait, what question did you just ask? I'm sorry.
what kind of kept you out of going down the traditional path of corporate work, or just getting
Oh
kind of a
yeah,
normal 9 to 5 full-time work, which is honorable too, not right for everyone, but
yeah. So I was just, I just was the way I was raised, and I was feeling like really inspired. And I always, since a young age, I was like, I could do that. I see people on YouTube making money, making videos. I was like, I could make an entertaining video, and people would watch it, and I could get paid for that. And that's kind of just the mindset I had. I was like, and I would always tell my friends and a lot of people that I was surrounded with, I would say like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber eventually. Like I don't know how, I don't know when or where, but like that's what I want to do. And it would always be like like talking about my dreams, like oh yeah, one day I'll be a YouTuber, I'll be a vlogger, and like I would just like kind of trying to manifest it, I guess. But I didn't know how to do it. I never knew how to do it or what to do or how to film a video or how to edit. So I kind of just like slowly started to do it, and everything was self-taught.
got it.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. I'm curious, have you ever been confused by the labels in the grocery store? In Yevgeny's book, he demystifies the difference between caged, cage-free, free-range, and pasture-raised meats. He also covers how to avoid GMOs, source high-quality water, fish, supplements, and other related topics. It's a beautifully illustrated, non-technical read that comes with a comprehensive video series and other extended learning materials. Jump on Amazon and check out the book titled Anti-Factory Farm Shopping Guide by Eugene Trufkin. Now let's dive back into the podcast.
Well, what are I know you kind of transitioned, I think, from like an IKEA to a Tesla, right? Just to make the DoorDash more like I guess
Yeah,
more
I,
profit friendly.
yeah, I just got the Tesla.
Got it. Okay. Well, what are some steps you took to, I guess, research tiny homes and find out like the perfect tiny home for you? I know there are like I've kind of done research on that as well. I know there are like a lot of different models and a lot of different companies. What
So
are
I'm horrible at that aspect of things. I just jump in head first and hope I don't hit my head on the ground. Like I just like was like eeny meeny miny mo, this company, let's do it. Because I had a lot of companies that wanted to work with me and a lot of companies that were offering me certain things. And I had a couple companies that were just making it difficult to start the process of building, and we're like, oh, it's going to take 8 months to complete the build process. Oh, it's going to do this. But the company I'm working with right now is called Pacifica Tiny Homes. They're based out of California, but they deliver to everywhere in the U.S. But they basically made it easy. They're like, we'll give you a tiny home to stay in, a rental that you can rent for cheap, and then we'll let you be a part of the building process. We'll build it in like 4 weeks, and they just laid out everything that I already wanted, and before I even had to ask for it. So I partnered with them, and I didn't pick or do really any research. The only company I was looking at before this was Boxable, but
oh, okay.
they
I
wanted
checked out.
me
Yeah.
to buy land. I was going to do a deal with them, but I needed to have land secured first, and I'm just very like picky when it comes to that type of stuff. So I was like trying to find a good deal. I was trying to find some that maybe had some water on it and electric on it already, and I just couldn't find anything in like a reasonable amount of time. So like we just stopped communicating as much. Um, but they're a great company. I'd love to work with them in the future. But yeah, right now I partner with Pacifica Tiny Homes, and yeah, happy with my decision. And the tiny home is was done like that. It's basically done. They're putting the finishing touches on right now. I'm kind of just looking for land, but they're also offering me a space here in their tiny home community for a good, reasonable rate of rent, and I'll probably just keep it here until I have until I buy a piece of land. Then I'm probably going to turn it into a tiny home, or geez, tiny home. I'm going to turn it into an Airbnb.
Yeah, got it. Yeah. Which states are you kind of looking at or thinking of?
Austin, Texas, Mount Hood, Oregon, or Welch's, Oregon, and then probably somewhere in the middle of Indiana, so I could be near my family. Those are the three states that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I haven't investigated it like in thorough detail. I'm actually from Texas in thorough detail. But it seems like if you have your own land and you put a tiny home on it, after like a certain amount of years, you have to kind of build a foundation to it, and then they can kind of do property tax on it. But if your parents have land and your home is on their land, then it's not required, so it kind of lets you kind of like bypass the property tax, which is quite high in Texas at least. I don't know if you've kind of looked into that at all.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I'm there's a guy that's trying to section off some of his property so that I can stay on there. But I don't know if, like you said, if he sections it off and then I buy that individual piece of property, then I probably have to pay property tax on the tiny home after a couple of years or so. But I mean, I could always just move it because it's on wheels, so it's technically an RV. So I don't know if
Yeah.
what their specifications are on like what they're going to tax it, if it's considered a mobile home or if it's considered a recreational vehicle. Because I would assume they'd consider it a recreational vehicle because it's pretty small and I can just tow it around wherever.
How many square feet is your tiny home?
I don't know the square feet. I probably should, but it's 24 foot by 8 foot. So whatever the math
Oh,
is,
okay.
no loft.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not too good with mental math either. I think it's like there are certain rules, like as long as it's below 400 square feet, then it's like not considered a home. It's like considered like a mobile home or something of that sort. But I haven't looked into it in full detail. But I did check out headquarters in Boxable, like here in Nevada, while I was
Hmm.
visiting my parents, and they're pretty cool. Last time I was there like a few months ago. They were just selling like very like square box models for like 50,000. Are those the only models you had available to you as well, or did they have?
Yeah, they had it's the Casita. That's the main one, and then they just launched the Baby Boxable, which is like a $20,000 version, which is just like tiny little, but it's like it's a house. It's got a bathroom, bed, all that, living room, for 20,000 bucks. So you really can't beat that. Um, but yeah, I didn't go check out the headquarters. But was that something that you could just like walk into or what?
Well, I think you're supposed to kind of set a tour date, but I just happened to stop by and they just let me see all the models. I think they had like four models displayed, but they definitely weren't 20,000. They're all like 50,000. Each single one was about like $50,000.
Yeah.
But they're all there. You could just walk in and yeah, it's like a very kind of small studio, if I remember. That's all they had to display it at that time. But it was just really nice inside and pretty much I think if you're kind of living single, it's like all you need pretty much. Have you ever thought of like with the tiny home, um, eventually like living with someone, or are you just kind of planning on staying solo for a while?
I mean, yeah, whatever happens, happens. Whatever's written in the history books for me. I'm not looking, I'm not like seeking any like girlfriends right now. But yeah, I'm not opposed to it though, but I'm very like locked in on content. So it's hard for me to like dedicate time to a relationship to where I would want like I would want to dedicate a good amount of time to a relationship and be able to be there for somebody. But as of right now, like they would have to be like all in on my content and whatever my lifestyle's being, it would be all about me, and I don't really want somebody to have to deal with that.
Yeah. Well, what are some things you look for when constructing a tiny home? And just another random question: how come you didn't just pick like a pre-built model? Why did you decide just to kind of build it from scratch?
I like carpentry. I wanted to help. I wanted to learn. I wanted to get the experience. That's why I didn't do a pre-built model. What was the question before that?
Why you kind of selected to build one from scratch instead of having like a prefabricated model?
Oh yeah, I just answered that. What was you
Yeah.
asked another one? You asked another question.
Um, just generally, what are some things to look for when maybe trying to find a company that builds tiny homes, in terms of like what to look for the right amount, for the right quality, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I would just look for like the best deals. Look at like the local market. What are tiny homes selling for on resale around you? Kind of compare that to the prices that they're versus like a new one. Just try to find a good deal. Do your research. Make sure the company's reputable. Make sure they have good reviews. Maybe try to find somebody that's bought a tiny home from them. Ask them how it's holding up over the years. Stuff like that. That's just like common practice research. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not like a tiny home guru. Like I said, I just kind of like jumped in. I don't really know much about what I'm doing. Most of the time, I really don't know anything about what I'm doing. I'm just kind of just there doing it, trying to just get it done.
Yeah. So is to clarify, I think you answered it earlier, but your tiny home is complete at this point?
Yeah, it's like 90% complete. They're doing what's called like a quality check on everything and just getting everything polished up, making sure all the boxes are checked essentially.
Got it. So I guess your next step is then to find some land and then kind of put it there.
Yeah, so my next step, I'm really content focused right now, so I'm about to go do a 100-day door dashing challenge in the Tesla, and I'm gonna buy my mom a car. The goal is to save or earn $300 a day for 100 days straight, equaling $30,000. So then I can go buy my mom a car for 20, 25,000, and then be able to give her a little bit of cash on top of that. So that's my next goal, and I'm about to go start that challenge within the next couple of days. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to be kind of like looking for land as well and just keeping an ear out. I may have a piece of land in Austin, Texas. I'm kind of just waiting to hear back from a certain individual that I've been talking to, and it seems like a very promising piece of land that I could buy. And if not, I have a couple backup pieces of land in Texas and Washington State. So I have options, and I'm kind of just waiting to see how it plays out. I'm not trying to rush anything, not trying to force myself in anywhere. Just trying to like seeing what the Lord has in store for me.
Yeah. No, Washington is super beautiful as well. What are you kind of leaning more towards, like Texas or Washington?
I love Washington. Texas is like I just like Texas a little bit more because it's closer to Indiana. It'd be like a 15-hour drive versus like a 30-hour drive. So it's when I want to go for the holidays or if there's a family event going on, that would be nice just to be a little bit closer. I could always just fly, but I don't like spending money. Um, my goal is to get land everywhere. So this is just the first step, and I'm probably going to turn into an Airbnb. If not, just kind of have it as a home base. It doesn't really matter to me whether it's an Airbnb or not, but that would be ideal. The goal is to get like land in Indiana, land in Texas, land in Oregon, land in Washington, land in Florida. Like that's what I want to do. With my money is just invest it into real estate and into giving back to my family.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, well, I think what you're doing is really cool, and it just shows that, if someone feels stuck and they're looking for alternative paths, that this is one possible path they can take. I guess, do you have any advice for people that are kind of like maybe not enjoying their job or maybe enjoy it, but it's just unsustainable hours and they kind of feel a bit stuck?
Um, I'm not really one to give advice because I feel like I'm just such a noob at life. Like I really don't know what I'm doing either. But I would say just like if you have a passion, work towards your passion. And like if you want to quit your job and like travel to Italy, just go to it. Like I don't know, just go do it. Like this thing, people think things are a lot harder in their head, and then once they go and actually do them and they experience them, then it normally plays out a lot easier than their overwhelming thoughts in their head. Just take the risks. I don't know, like all the corny lines that somebody would say. That's probably what I would say. Just go do it. Like a couple of my friends or family members that are like, oh, I want to start doing content, and it's a lot of talk. It's like, oh, well, just do it, like, so don't talk about it. Like, just write down a plan and execute the plan. Set a goal for yourself. Post one video. Boom. That's your goal. Go out, film, find an idea, go out, film, do it. Just like set goals, set milestones for yourself and try to achieve them. It's really not like as hard. It's mainly just like for me, it's like the mental aspect of things. Like I'll get down, I'll get burnt out, I'll get depressed, I'll lean back on like addiction, stuff like that. And it's just like removing yourself from all the nonsense and focusing on like what you want to do with your life and stuff like that. I think, I don't know. I can just speak from personal experience, but that was what helped me best was removing myself, isolating myself, and like really figuring out who I am and what I want, and then setting goals based on that. Setting goals based on that.
Yeah, you mentioned the mental aspect being sometimes the most challenging, and the mind's interesting because it's always kind of changing its mind. You
Yeah.
know, today it's like something. 2 weeks later, it doesn't like it anymore. 4 weeks after that, it's like indifferent. So you got to kind of like sometimes be careful and set clear goals, and then kind of be procedural with those goals because inevitably the mind's always going to keep changing its mind. And if you kind of merge with it a bit too much, you'll be like very inconsistent in pretty much everything you do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a constant cycle for me. I'm just in a cycle. It's like I
Yeah,
have to learn to not break out of that mental cycle and just stay focused on certain tasks. And yeah.
yeah. Well, Michael, thanks for being on the show and kind of sharing your story. Are there any resources you'd like to promote or any projects? You mentioned you're doing another challenge, but any other projects that people can follow you on?
No, not really. I do a lot of long form YouTube content, so check that out. That's just my name, Michael Hickey. You find that on YouTube. That's what I'm trying to get more into, like the long form aspect of content. Try to build a stronger following. I think like short form following is like really. It's not like strong. It doesn't have like it doesn't carry much weight in the content creator community. Like 1 million followers on like long form YouTube video is a lot more than like it's a lot more powerful than like 10 million followers on like an Instagram, because like short form content is fed to you. You don't have to go seek it. You just swipe and then, oh, my video pops up, and then you swipe,
Hmm.
next guy's pops up, and then you swipe. But it's like long form YouTube content, you go out and seek it. So like it just builds like a better connection with the audience, and I feel like it's a lot more valuable. And I enjoy those videos a lot more than the short form videos. But yeah, so yeah, check out my YouTube. I don't I don't really have anything to promote other than like the social media stuff, but it's just Michael Hickey everywhere.
Cool. Yeah, and you guys will include all the links in the show notes, so you can just kind of click on those and make it easy to find. But thank you again for being a guest on the podcast. It was good to meet you, and yeah, man, just keep on your journey. I think it's really cool that you have the courage to kind of step outside of the box, and do what's right for you. And I think if just a lot of people did that, then maybe the world would be a bit of a better place. Cool.
I
So
totally agree. Thank you for having me on.
thank you guys. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thanks for tuning into the podcast. If you've ever had trouble losing weight, or you've lost weight, but still didn't have the ideal body or health you're aiming for, please feel free to reach out anytime and book an assessment. Eugene will work with you to cover your goals in detail, see what's holding you back, and go from there. In the meantime, feel free to check out the countless testimonials on Eugene's website in the link below. In the testimonial section, you'll notice everyone has various backgrounds, are of all different ages, and all have had different challenges in their life, but they all have one thing in common: they were all able to find their health and achieve their ideal body. You're also welcome to add yourself to the Facebook group in the link below. There you'll have access to the live videos that Eugene does weekly on Sundays and other helpful content. Thank you again for tuning in.